Welcome to Rooted Realities, where honest talk meets soulful insight. This podcast will guide you through life's ups and downs, offering clarity, courage, and a gentle reminder to give yourself grace. I'm your host, Christmas Miller, holistic health practitioner, life coach, and spiritual mentor. With each episode, I'll blend ancient wisdom with modern insight to inspire you to stay accountable and empowered. So if you're ready to grow from the inside out, you're in the right place. Let's get started. Hi, everyone. Christmas here, and thank you for tuning in. Today, let's talk about something we all face at some point. That experience that prompts us to choose to forgive and let all that negativity and pain go. But depending on what happened, that might not feel so easy to do. And for some people, forgiveness isn't a conversation topic or even an option. But forgiveness is supposed to set you free, right? But sometimes it can feel like a setup, especially when it's the same person with the same pattern, that same hurt that you're trying so hard to be free of. So what do? You forgive, but it keeps happening again and again and again. And it's not because you're weak, but because you're trying to be the bigger person. You're trying to do the right thing. You're trying to heal, trying to get back to some sense of normalcy without making things worse. But what happens when that pressure to forgive becomes the thing that keeps you stuck? So let's explore another angle with that. What I'm about to share might be the key to your liberation. But before we talk about all of the things and people you should forgive, let's first talk about you. You should first forgive yourself for not knowing or for knowing but staying anyway. You should forgive yourself for the anger you held on to or the silence you sat in, for trying to make it work when it was never your job to fix it alone. Or worse, because it's family and you're always supposed to forgive and stand by them because they're blood. This isn't about blaming anyone. I want to focus on forgiveness, which is all about release. You are allowed to stop dragging guilt behind you. You're allowed to stop holding every piece of what happened like it was yours to carry alone. And you are allowed not to let other people tell you how to manage being betrayed or done wrong. That's where real forgiveness starts, inside. Not to perform for anyone else, because we do a lot of that on this planet. This is about you, not proving you're spiritually evolved, the bigger person. You're doing it because you're tired of being weighed down by the pain that was never fully yours to begin with. And please understand me. I know forgiveness is powerful. And I know that it can set you free when it's real and it's for you. So you don't have to keep replaying the wound. That's what I want to talk about more in depth, because you can certainly stop dragging the past into your present. That's the big important aspect to get here. You don't have to keep being on a merry-go-round with this. But a lot of us, we were taught a version of forgiveness that got twisted somewhere. Then it got passed down, and it kept an unhealthy pattern going. And some of these things that I'm about to share with you might sound familiar. And here's what some of those unhealthy patterns sound like. You should be the bigger person, or you should be the one to let it go because it's not worth it. They didn't really mean it. Just let it go. Or if you don't forgive, you're just bitter or making things worse. Or if you do forgive them and let it go, that's when you finally can move on and everything is going to be just like it used to be or better. And yes, there's some truth in all of those, but sometimes it's not just about forgiveness. It's about access. Yes, access. And you reevaluating what's best for you and only you. And this is where forgiveness becomes a trap, or it can seem like one. When forgiveness is expected without accountability. When forgiveness is expected without exception, because it's your sibling, parents, spouse, adult child, business partner, lover, or best friend. When you keep forgiving the same behavior over and over, like one of these days, they'll eventually stop doing it. Or worse, being guilted into forgiveness by people who benefit from your silence or your fear. This one is real, and it happens a lot. And since we're talking about this, let's call it all the way out. If you don't know, I'm going to tell you. There are some folks out here who rely on your ability to forgive so they don't have to change. They don't see nothing wrong with how they behave, but they think you need to get with the program and keep giving out those forgiveness passes. Matter of fact, they count on that. They weaponize your softness. They use your empathy as an escape clause. And they use those family bonds too. Oh, they most certainly do that. But that's not healing. That's enabling. And some of us were trained for years to be understanding of this behavior at the cost of our own well-being. If you take a moment to step outside of all of what I just said and think about it, how does any of this enabling truly help you heal or give you peace? I mean, think about it. How does that help you? It doesn't. Not at all. Because if you do find any healing, help, and peace, please drop me a line and tell me how you did it. Because to date, I have not seen anything healthy about suffering with all of this on a regular basis. Even the occasional slip-ups still hurt. They still harm, still leave damage. And sometimes our giving them grace was just another way of being silent. But the good news is, you don't have to hold on to anger or this pain anymore. And you certainly don't have to keep handing unhealthy people front row seats to your life. Let's get clear on what forgiveness doesn't mean, because I want you to make sure you remember this. Forgiveness doesn't mean you have to keep showing up for people who continue to hurt you. It doesn't mean having to explain your boundaries over and over and over again to them. And it certainly doesn't mean you have to prove you're over what they did to you by staying connected to them, even if it still hurts. Sometimes cutting people loose isn't petty. It's practical, protective, and wise. And I endorse it for those reasons. Because it's you exercising your free will to create healthy alignment instead of dysfunction. If someone's unhealthy patterns keep bleeding into your life, you're not being bitter if you say, enough, enough is enough. Or no, I will not allow you to keep doing this to me. That's what you're supposed to say and do. Draw those healthy boundaries and enforce them. Because doing this means you're aware and you're very clear that you're done with the loop going around in circles, enabling bad behavior. So let this be another reminder. You can forgive someone and still walk away. You can wish them peace and still protect your own. You can grieve the relationship and still close the door and lock it when necessary. Because forgiveness doesn't always mean reconciliation. Sometimes forgiveness is letting go for your sake, so you stop giving time, energy, and emotion to what's not yours. So if you're at this point where you've done enough, took on enough, but you're still holding yourself hostage to somebody else's version of what forgiveness is supposed to look like, it's time to set yourself free. It's time because you've already earned your peace. But now it's time to go live in it without any regret. Thank you for listening to Rooted Realities. If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe and leave a review. It really helps others find the show. Your support is greatly appreciated. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook for more updates and new content. Until next time, stay rooted and keep growing.